Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
We've already got what we need to do this, and I've steeled my resolve, so I jump into the well. As we're walking, the lights went out, and a creature appeared cloaked in the darkness. I couldn't get a good look as it was gone. We're left to wonder what it is, but it's likely the one that's terrorizing this town as we push onwards. Pulling levers to progress further, eventually we made it to an area in the sewers where Morris was calling us an irritating lot. We call him out for his crimes he's committed, adding that Barden has secured all exits. Morris thinks it's funny that we think the guards can stop them, saying, "Is it really time to be running our mouths when he's hungry?" He whistles and runs away, laughing. The creature from earlier appears and is scanning the area for us. We think about the situation. We do need a head for the tournament, but we also need to think about the fact that we might not be able to actually take it. I have confidence in my skills, but I also don't believe I could, so I think I'll avoid it for now, as we were able to evade the creature long enough for it to leave. We're left to think just what it is, and how Morris has control of it, but I do think Heismay has a point. We should probably leave before it comes back, as we push onwards to another encounter with Morris, calling us terribly lucky to survive. Hulkenberg calls him out, saying he'll be at the end of a blade soon enough. He replies for us to shut up, calling us nothing but bait, adding that we're welcome to come after him, but it's feeding time. As with another whistle, the creature arrives, as we're left to hide from the monster and avoid its gaze. I have this weird feeling that in another life, I got demolished by whatever the creature was, but I shake off those feelings and move forward. We enter a new area with Morris saying that he's had it with us, as he yells at us and him and Heismay have a spat. But he's fine with it, after all, it's hungry as he runs away. We want to pursue him, but we look around, it's just endless water. We need to drain the water before we may pursue him, sadly. So we get to work, and with the last one pulled, we're able to continue. And not a moment sooner as we hear the creature's horrible cries. In the next room we found some crystals that have an endless supply of trash mobs, so I used it to replenish my magla, and then kept pushing forwards. But we got ourselves in a very bad situation, as the lights go out and that thing is near, as I see it staring right at me. We're left to run for our lives, because I do not want to know what happened if it caught me. Thankfully, I'm pretty lucky, and we were able to catch a lift that actually works, as we thank whoever is above as we're revved up to beat up Morris. We're face to face with Morris, who's standing next to Lady Joanna. Could she be a part of it? Or just a hostage? Hulkenberg calls him a cur, as Morris simply calls us dull and hopeless, as the sound of the creature is loud, but we have no time to focus on that, as his plan to drag us here worked, and we're sent down a trapdoor. I awaken inside a cell door, hearing a familiar voice cry out about being a captain. It sounded like Klinger. What is he doing here? But by the sounds of it, and his cries, he has met an untimely fate. I guess in a way, Stroll got his form of justice for that day. Still, what a way to go out. But we're still stuck in the cage. Morris comes to boast that it's almost time to feed the beasts. After all, we'll be the next corpse though. Unfortunately, the time has come. There's a limit to the bait that they can provide, and he is going to run while he can, telling us to stay healthy, laughing as he walks away. However, it seems that Morris forgot about one thing. I wasn't alone. Gallagher was small enough to go for the bars and let me out, but we had a fight with some wolves for my freedom, which wasn't that bad. I was left to do the same for my allies, but I had to be smart about it, as it sets free some monsters. Heismay was first, Hulkenberg was second, and the final one was Stroll, where we face a chimera-like beast. But with all three of us freed, that was not much trouble. But with their defeat, we push onwards to stop Morris's plan. But on our way, we saw where Klinger was brutally killed. We're left to be in silence. I mean, he was a coward of a man, but to die like that... Well, regardless, we push onwards. Entering what seems to be Joanna's personal quarters, it's truthfully eerie. Barden said she was childless, and on top of all that, she has a portrait where she's pregnant. She has no husband nor child. It's most strange, but the dreadful truth came out when Stroll read the entry of the child's caretaker.
See. Apparently, Joanna was unmarried, never formally bound in marriage to the father of her child.
So 'twas a love child? An illicit affair?
Apparently so. At least here in Martira. The father was a foreigner of another tribe. Their marriage would never have been accepted. The traditionalists always say mixed blood children are abominations, terrible omens. And superstitions like that tend to carry a lot more weight in the countryside. Joanna brushed it off. Said it was ridiculous and irrational. She was about to announce the child's birth. The old woman, the nanny they'd hired, she killed the boy in his crib.
What?
Seems like this was around the time the human sightings were becoming more widespread.
It would be easy to ascribe the birth as the ill-fated omen.
Joanna's family was overjoyed. The deed kept the abomination out of the public eye. They never even investigated her crime. And Joanna's love, the father, was banished from the city. The nurse's diary concludes, "O God, please forgive me for my sin most wicked."
Let's move on. This is looking worse by the minute.
What a vile act done from a place of hate. My heart pains for Joanna, but if she's the one doing this, then it's not excusable. We look around, and there's talkings of a baby being alive, and an abnormally large crib. It's ominous, and there's a door with fog rolling under. I know where this is leading, as I open the door. We enter the room and see Joanna talking to her baby, calling it Fussy. That's no baby, that's a vile creature. But Joanna doesn't listen, talking about her child's hearty appetite, adding that Morat has brought them food, but he has no words to this, as she calls him useless. He even failed to eliminate us and has brought Heismay to them. However,
But no matter. You look tender enough for my darling's liking.
What? This is your child. It just devoured a man. All I see is a mindless monster.
And a monster is what I see when I look upon the world. People are beasts of fear and superstition, murderers without remorse. I have done nothing they've not done to me. Abominations. They are the unnatural. They deserve to die. They should all be so glad to nourish my child. My dear, sweet child.
A mother's love should nurture, but this is beyond the pale.
And you? Do you not condemn her? She kidnapped children, murdered them in cold blood, and would see you blamed for it.
In truth, I know this woman's pain all too well. In the name of her child, she was willing to turn against the entire world. Behind her atrocities, I see the devotion of a bereaved parent. You found yourself unjustly in a terrible darkness, and I struggle to blame you. Burying your own child is unbearable. Grief and madness fill the gaps where love had been. But my eyes were opened. These people helped me see. The only way to beat the darkness is to confront it. Step by meager step. You must walk back to our reality. Look upon that and see true that it is not the child you once loved.
Be silent! You know nothing of it. Your sermons better suit a preacher, but that is not your place here. You are here to be eaten!
Good. Show me your hate. Pour out your darkness. We'll fight, but not in justice's name. Grief is its own death, so we will show you life!
Darling, Are you still hungry? Mother wants you to play with your food! Come, my darling. It's time for supper. Eat up!
All the people who disappeared. This must have been the last thing they ever saw.
We break his tragic curse here and now. It's the only way we might mourn them. Let us finish this, Captain. We'll put an end to this horror, whatever the cost.
This vile creature that takes form of a baby was an absolute slug. As all types of strong attacks that drop our defenses, our ways on countering it is to destroy its eyes. But I had no real way of doing it due to focusing mostly on my team in physical. I had 2 almighty attacks in Gold Attack and Life Drain, which I use a lot in this fight, while having a stockpile of weak fire spread damage for Stroll. This fight was truly a slug. It went for almost 20 minutes, something that is no thanks to Joanna healing her child, a considerable amount of health, or how Gallicus said, she healed the demon baby, but it just postponed the inevitable of its defeat. But it nearly took every single one of my resources I had to actually take it down, as I land the finishing blow.
Not long ago, I too had a child. But I couldn't protect him. It was in a nearby village. Some paripus started a riot, and my son was caught in the middle of it. They beat him until he was barely recognizable. Even bloodied and battered, he clung to life. But his body was broken. He couldn't move. And not a single person came to his aid. He was a Ujif, and to them, that's all he was. But he was a helpless child, left to die in a pool of his own blood. By the time I finally got to him, it had been hours. It was too late.
I had no idea.
I couldn't abide it. Reality was too painful, and I ran until I was spending my nights and days in the sandworm's pit. Better to live in solitude than in the embers of hell. That was the real reason I lived in that den of beasts. I thought death would be a mercy.
Heismay.
And then these meddlers came along. They dragged me under the night sky I'd not seen in many seasons. And beneath those stars, it finally came to me. This is not the life my son would have wanted for me. That thought changed my whole perspective. His memory deserves love, not pain. Look with your eyes and your heart. You can ignore it no longer. You loved your child, not this creature. And the child you loved is gone.
If I could have sacrificed my life instead, I swear I would have done it. I loved my son with all of my heart.
I know. Nobody could ever deny you that. And now, the nightmare is over.
So what do we do? Do we present this creature as evidence?
I don't know. Our testimony is likely not enough to prove this monster was behind the disappearances, and it'd be easily denounced as a publicity stunt.
Do you recall the promise I made when first we met? I pledged my political support if you were able to solve this matter. I fear that after all this, it is a boon I can no longer provide. But if you need a head to present to the judges, perhaps it could be my own.
You'd have us cut off your head?
If that is your decision, I will accept it. However, that seems unlikely to clear Heismay's name. Please take me to the exhibition of the brave. I will confess the truth before the masses. Surely the evidence will be undeniable when heard from my lips.
Yet as a holy woman, 'twould be bold-faced ignominy to sanctifex Forden. You risk dire consequences, possibly even without trial.
I have but one request. Before I depart, I would ensure all my duties are passed to my successor. I know I ask much of you, but would Barden and I be permitted to join you in Oceania later on? I will atone for my sins. For my son's sake, I must.
What should we do? There's no guarantee she won't take this opportunity to escape.
But I see her point. The people here have suffered enough unrest. If she is to leave them, she must ensure they still have guidance, else they'll fall to chaos and panic.
You are our captain. The decision is ultimately yours.
I'm choosing to trust Joanna. Right.
You're too nice for your own good. But you might have a point about not forcing her.
Our treatment of her might reflect on her confession too. Don't want anyone saying we coerced it out of her.
Then 'tis settled.
Oh, thank you for your kindness. 1,000 times. Thank you. Oh, how curious. It's as if the fog has finally lifted from me.
With our mission complete and my belief in Joanna doing the right thing, we meet up with Barden as he tells us he knows about Joanna. He will assume the duty as her escort and will ensure Heismay's name will be cleared, adding that since we stopped the kidnapper, we'll be paid in full. Neris likes the sound of that, talking about all sorts of ways to make the runner better than ever, but Heismay requests that I spare some money for the bereaved families. He knows it's not his place, but he believes their pain is unbearable. I think on it, and to be honest, we only need the head. We need not the money. As I say, it's all theirs. Both Falkenberg and Stroll agree with that, as Barden calls us true knights, adding he'll make sure the people hear of our bravery, while Stroll reminds him not to tell the public everything as he leaves. With Barden gone, we compliment Heismay for being a true hero in all of this, finding the secret entrance and being the start of the whole thing, asking if he'd like to join us, as we can still use his strength. He asks about our race for the crown, and that's when we all agree to tell him the full truth, in which this is for the prince who is still alive, but in an eternal slumber. He's shocked to hear and reinvigorates him to join us, saying his life may not hold much, but he'd gladly pledge it to our noble cause. If he is to choose a lord out of loyalty instead of dependence, then there's no shame in that, as I respond that not a lord, but a friend. And he agrees with that, as my rank in the populace has reached the triple digits, now being 981. After that, I noticed that Gallica seems to be down, seeming to think that she didn't do enough, but I mean, the only reason we escaped was her pulling that lever, but she seems to be having something in mind, thankfully, as our bond has grown stronger. Now that we're done here and we have the head, we decide to get ready for Briarhaven, but turns out a landslide has appeared on the road, so we're stuck here until it's done, but we're reassured that we'll still get there in time for the competition. So that's nice, just glad that Matera is finally free.